If you've been following along with my training vlog, you'll see that I did 13 weeks. Now again, this is a free program. So let's talk about the feature breakdown. So this beginner program is very robust. It's in a spreadsheet form, so I know that might deter some of you, but it's easy to use. It's well laid out. It has 6 tabs for your use. The start tab is where you create your file copy, enter your 1 rep maxes, and it suggests you look over the plan to familiarize yourself with it. It includes a frequently asked questions section and a description. The program also includes an RPE tab with an explanation and RPE charts. This was extremely useful to me since I hadn't used RPE in my hypertrophy training before, and I referred to it often. They even include a video explanation. It's well thought out. Don't for 1 minute think that the fact that it's a free program is that it's lacking in any way, shape, or form, because it really isn't. It's thorough. You will see positive results from following this program. So here's the main page for the strength athlete. You go on the resources, select freebies, and then you scroll down and you see all your options here to choose from. You have the 9-week intermediate program. This is the program I chose here, 9 and 13-week programs. Downloaded it, then I saved it, and then it runs you through the gamut of everything you have to enter. I'll show you my spreadsheet here. It starts with the intro week, then you progress into your progress block, then you have your deload week, then you start your intensify block. In this column here, you end up entering all of your last set RPEs, and then it tells you what your estimated 1 rep max will be. As you progress further along, you see here, you enter your last set RPE based on that set, and it gives you your estimated 1 rep max. And if you're entering that in and you decide you want to make an adjustment somewhere along the line, then the subsequent weeks that you have, they'll end up being adjusted based on your new manual entry here. Then you have your home tab where you enter your own information. Then you have the reference tab here, which shows you again the RPE chart, your intake ranges for your nutrition, water, fiber, all of that, sleep, supplementation, recovery. There's warm-up theory, sports psychology. You have the warm-up section here, and you can click on this and watch a video. It shows you barbell complex, and this is a demonstration on warming up with a barbell. Very thorough. Nice that they have this option to actually go to, but that's all there. There are different videos for dynamic warm-up, repetition of movement, and so on. You can enter your short-term goals here, your long-term goals. So this is where you enter your own personal information. This is what you're going to put your 1 rep max at, but all of that carries into the training, and it basically should start you out with your intro week with the proper loads to use. If you were coming out of a training lapse like I was due to COVID, again, for me, this was my first powerlifting program. So the light introduction week was definitely welcome. And then from there, based on your own assessments, you may make adjustments, but if you don't, it will carry over and increase. As you can see here, 225 one week, 225 the next week, and then so on. So it goes up and down as needed. There are times when it goes down because that's the way the program is designed. This is not an app that you use on your phone or iPad or something like that. You download it to your computer. You save a copy of the file to, say, a Google Drive or something like that. There's probably an option to save it directly to your own computer, but I did a Google Drive for mine, and that allowed me to add data and see updated data on 2 different computers, my main desktop and my laptop that I kept downstairs in my gym. And it is really sound in its structure and implementation. So again, the beginner status should not be looked at as a negative in any way. It's broken down by effective blocks, such as a light introduction, progress block, a deload, intensify block, then a test, and if you choose the longer 13-week program like I did, there's a peak training block that comes after the intensify. And this leads you into your test or your meet if you want to coincide that. It also identifies the target RPE range for that given block, so you know what to expect before you get into the training in that block or that week of training. For example, is it going to be a max effort week with an all 9 RPE or even 10 RPEs throughout the week? This gives you that mental prep opportunity. It's got a flexible work week where you choose the 4 days in the program that you want to work out. So for example, you could choose 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off, or 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. However you care to do it is up to you. Eventually, after week 2 or 3, I settled on 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, and then the weekend off. And that worked out ideally for me personally. This splits the heavier squat deadlift days into smaller blocks during the week and allows for a rest between them. You have 2 squat days and 2 deadlift days in the week. And splitting them up this way was beneficial to me because obviously that takes the most out of you. Chest is hit 3 times per week, as I said, with the program because they know we can benefit from increased chest training in a given week, even on back-to-back days. Yes, you will bench back-to-back with this schedule. Again, don't let the beginner status fool you into thinking it's not effective or doesn't push you, because it truly does. If you're honest with your 1 rep max assessments and that information is entered into the home tab, it will carry over into the training tab. This is a powerlifting program and not hypertrophy, so the volume of work is different if you're used to hypertrophy. Squats started out at a low 185 pounds, deadlifts at a low 200 pounds, pause deadlifts at 135, and bench at just 180. By the time I hit my first test week in week 9, I had a 3 rep max of 285 pounds for squats, 285 pounds for deadlifts, and 240 pounds for bench. This equated to a calculated 1 rep max of 273 for bench, which was an increase of 28 pounds, 314 pounds for both squats and deadlifts, and that was an increase of 19 pounds on the squats and 64 pounds on my deadlifts. I know 64 pounds may not sound like much of an increase for deadlifts, but that previous 1 rep max of 245 for me was pretty ugly and extremely difficult for me. These were significant gains from my actual test prior to starting the program. By the time I hit my final test week of the program in week 13, my actual 1 rep max had increased to 275 pounds, which I did on 2 attempts, and for both squat and deads, an increase of 5 pounds, both of which were new PRs at 320 pounds for both squat and deadlifts. That works out to a total gain of 30 pounds on bench, 25 pounds on squats, and 70 pounds on deadlifts over the 13 weeks. That increase of strength gains on the big 3 totals 125 pounds, which is not bad for 13 weeks of a beginner training. And did I mention this program is free? Free. What is there to complain about or criticize with a free program, especially one that got me significant gains in strength in the big 3 lifts? Those gains will transfer over to my hypertrophy powerlifting training program that I intend to start in late May. The workload is entirely manageable. I never strayed from the program or felt the need to give up or quit due to it being too tough. The last week prior to my final test was really tough on me, but I still was able to stick with the program, and I only eliminated a few accessory exercises on that last day of the week. Other than that, I followed the plan to a T. One area that I really appreciated having exposure to with this program is the pause work, pause bench, and in particular pause deads. This was new for me, and I believe the pause deads really helped increase my posterior chain strength. I also enjoyed getting back to squats, as I had difficulty with squats due to my shoulder injury. Also, deadlifts were scary for me since I had injured my lower back on deads. Now I'm fine with deadlifts, and I'm pretty psyched with my strength and progress, but I still hate pause deads. Another key area that this program helped me with was focusing on my breathing and bracing techniques. In the beginning, I had trouble breathing through my squat sets while bracing, and through repetition it became habitual. Finally, the last area that this program helped me understand through its use and my exposure was RPE, or rate of perceived exertion. I understood the concept of RPE, but had never used it in practice with my previous training. Somehow I managed, and I did well with my training in all the years past, but I'm now looking back thinking, how did I ever train effectively without it? Needless to say, it will be part of my future training as well. Currently, I am recycling the later half of this program, the Intensify and Peak blocks, in order to prep for the Garage Gym competition meet in mid-May. I've updated the 1 rep max so that the program could adjust my programming accordingly. This means it stays challenging and keeps me progressing throughout. And I'm truly ecstatic with the performance gains I have already realized. In the initial few weeks of my vlogs, I noted that I was giving the program the benefit of the doubt, and I'm truly glad that I did. I've learned a lot about powerlifting, myself, and a different style of training than I was accustomed to. I've gained a newfound respect for powerlifting, and I enjoyed it so much that I want to incorporate it into all of my training for the rest of my life. I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite content providers, Brandon from Basement Brandon, for recommending this program to me, as I am truly grateful for the recommendation and the exposure to this training discipline. So those are my thoughts on this awesome free program. If you have any desire to gain strength that can translate into any training program, or were always interested in powerlifting, you should consider taking advantage of this one. Please don't let the price tag fool you into thinking it's not worth your time or not thorough, because it's more than worth it. And I want to note that I'm in no way affiliated with the Strength Athlete. It's just my own personal use and experience as your everyday, average, middle-aged lifter. And I do highly recommend this program based on that personal experience. If you have any thoughts about this training from your own experiences, I welcome you sharing that in the comment section below as well. Stay tuned for more training videos, reviews, and other videos to come. Thanks for watching. Take care.